Không ai sẽ khỏi ไปเรือเหรอ
ไม่เรือไม่ถึงครับ
เอาไปโรงเรียนไปถึงสุดเลยเหรอฝั่งนู้นเป็นสายและ75
75
And you're saying fire, F-I-R-E? F-I-R-E. Okay.
บวช
So
ที่เมืองไทยหรือบวชที่
there is no helplessness because the fire is very strong. And is the fire actually a burning fire?
Yes.
Okay, so, and you feel like someone's not going to get cold because the fire is very strong? Why does a fire,
Fire is when a house.
oh, burning a house?
The whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. So there would be hopelessness. There is hopelessness for our home. There is hopelessness. There is no hope for our home because the fire is very strong and it will burn our house down.
If I use hell escape, how can you use it? Because now it
There is helplessness. Yes, I feel helpless because the fire is so strong. The strength of the fire created helplessness. I think I just didn't quite understand you when I heard it. I'm still recovering from having marker on my face. Okay, we just have 2 more chapters. I know some of you will be happy when this is over. I kind of like the story, but it's more about you than me. Thank you, 39. Escape to the mountains. 39. Now, for some of you who haven't been here, we've got a couple with a baby, and that baby got bitten by a scorpion. And the father wants to go out, and he looked to pay for a doctor, and he discovered what? The pearl of the world. The pearl of the world. And he thought that this would bring his family great joy. It has not. It's been a bad thing for the family. What has happened to him, class? What has happened to this family because of the pearl? Many people in town would like the pearl. And so they tried to steal from him. What else did they do to the family?
His camel was destroyed and his house was burned.
Thank you. Yes. So, yes. So now they are hiding. They hid in the brother's house. The brother is lying and saying, oh, they've gone away. And now they are going to escape. Do you know the word escape? Yes. Seek safety, go away to be safe. To seek refuge. That's where we get the word refugee. Someone who's trying to escape. Okay, so escape to the mountains. Lee, your hand was up earlier. Did I ignore you?
It's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. The next time that happens, don't hesitate to raise your hand again. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, chapter 8, escape to the mountains. The wind was strong, and it threw sticks and stones at Kino and Wana. They held their clothing tight around them and covered their noses and went out into the world. The two walked carefully around the town. Now this around, just a second class, this around doesn't mean through, it means around. They didn't go through the town. Then Kino turned north by the stars, and found the old sandy road to Loreto. Kino could feel the sand against his legs, and he was glad because his feet were leaving no tracks. Kino went quickly and quietly. Juana almost ran to stay with him. Lee, do you feel comfortable reading now? Thank you.
Through Kino's fear of dark and the evils of night, some excitement came. Sometime out of
That's okay.
something out of the past of his people was alive in him. The wind was at his back and the stars guided him. The family walked and walked, hour after hour. They passed nobody and saw nobody. At last, to their right, the moon came up, and when it did, the wind died. The land was silent. Thank you.
Thank you. Now they could see the little road in front of them. It had deep, sand-covered wheel tracks. Now they were leaving signs in the sand, but they were quite far from town. Kino walked carefully in a wheel track, and Juana followed in his path. Who feels comfortable, or would someone continue to read? Yes.
What is the meaning of the wind died?
Oh, such a great question. What happens when I die?
Person can wind die.
Pardon me?
Person can die, wind die.
Right. It's the same thing. It goes away. It's no more. The wind became no more. Glad you asked that. Thank you. Any other questions about what we read so far? All right. 40 readers. Yes, please. Thank you.
All night they were walking, never showing down. Once Coyotito woke up, Juana spoke softly to him until he went to sleep again. And the evils of the night were allowed them. The night animals cried and laughed from behind the trees. The night birds flew above them, singing dark songs. And when some large animals moved near them, Kino held the big working knife tight. He felt protectedly by it. The music of the pearl was loud in Kino's head, and he could also hear the quiet song of the family. All night they walked. Before the first light of day, Kino searched the roadside for a place to sleep. He found his place near to the road, a little grassy area, a thick line of dry trees hid in from view. Juana sat down to feed the baby. Kino went back to the road. He took a stick and carefully swept the tracks of the path from the road to the hiding place. And then in the first light, he heard a vehicle coming down the road, and he sat and watched it pass. He went back to the road. He found that their tracks were gone, and again he swept the path. Then he went back to Juana.
Thank you. Nina, do you know vehicle? The word vehicle? You said it well. Do you know what that means?
It's a machine.
Right, like a car or a truck. Vehicle is a car or truck.
Vehicle.
Vehicle.
Vehicle. Say vehicle. Vehicle.
Vehicle. I thought you said it well. I didn't. I just was, that was a word I have on my computer to explain to you. Vehicle, car, or truck, or a bus, a machine with wheels. A machine with wheels that moves people. Vehicle. Vehicle.
Vehicle.
Vehicle.
Vehicle.
Vehicle. Yeah, it can mean a few other things. This is what it usually means. I could also say this marker is a vehicle for writing. So it can also mean a tool, but usually not. Usually it means like a car or a bus or a truck, a vehicle. Thanks. She gave him the corn cakes that Apollonia packed for them, and then she slept a little. But Kino sat on the ground and looked at the earth in front of him. The sun came up. They were not near the sea now, and the air was dry and hot. When Juana woke up, the sun was high. "Will they follow us?" she asked. "Do you think they will try to find us?" "They will try," said Kino. "Oh, they will try because they want the pearl." And Juana said, "Maybe the buyers were right. Maybe the pearl is worth nothing." Kino reached into his clothes and brought out the pearl. The sun shone on it, and it burned his eyes. "No," he said, "because they tried to steal it." "Do you know who attacked you? Was it the buyers?" "I do not know," he said. "I did not see them." Dina, do you feel comfortable reading now? Thank you.
He looked into his pearl to find the scripture. Then he said it at last. "I will have a gun," he said, and he looked into the pearl for his gun. But he saw only a lamp, burning, falling on the ground. And he said quickly, "We will marry in a great church." And in the pearl he saw Juana lying in the rocks near the beach. "Our son must learn to read," he said, word in his voice. And therein the pearl was Coyotito, face hot and red from the white medicine. And Kino put the pearl back into his clothing. The music of the pearl sounded wild and in his ears, like the music of Ewan.
Thank you. The day grew hotter. Kino and Juana moved into the shadows of the small trees. Kino lay down and covered his eyes with his hat, and he slept. But Juana did not sleep. She sat quiet as a stone, and her face was quiet. Her mouth still hurt where Kino hit her, but she sat silently. When Coyotito woke up, she put him on the ground in front of her. She watched him wave his arms and kick his feet. He smiled and laughed at her, and she smiled too. She picked up a little stick from the ground and played with him and then gave him water. Chop, do you mind to read?
Kino woke in a dream, and then he cried, roundly and sat up, suddenly. His eyes were wide. He listened and heard only the hat indicate.
Right.
"What is it?" Juana asked. "Be quiet," he said. "You were dreaming, maybe." But he could not sit quietly. He was nervous. his charming and linked shirt. Night, when Coyotito laughed on the ground, he said, keep quiet. What is the matter? When I asked, I do not know. He listened again, an animal light in his eyes. He stood up, then silently and keeping low. He moved through the grass toward the road, but he did not step into the road. He stayed quietly and looked out.
Thank you. And then he saw them moving along. He saw 3 men. Did you have a question? Did you have a question? Are you just a little bit lost on the reading?
No question. Thank you.
Okay, all right. If you should please ask. Did you want to read? No, okay. All right. Okay. And then he saw them moving along. He saw 3 men, 2 on foot and 1 on horseback. So one was riding a horse. He knew what they were. Fear went through him. He could see the 2 on foot looking at the ground. They were the trackers. These people could read a broken stick or a little fallen pile of sand. Behind them, on a horse, was a dark man. He carried a gun that shone in the sun. The trackers were looking for him as they looked for animals, and they moved over the ground like animals and found a sign and looked closely at it. The horseman waited. Crayon, do you want to read the next? No? Okay, you don't have to. Sue, would you like to read the next one? Yes, please.
The tracker made noise like excited dogs. Kino slowly took his big knife out. He knew that he must do it. If the tracker found the sweet place, he must jump at the horseman. He must kill him quickly and take the gun. And as the 3 came nearer on the road, Kino began to jump.
Thank you. Now Juana, back in the hiding place, heard the horse, and Coyotito made soft noises. She took him up quickly, and he was silent. When the trackers came near, Kino could see only their legs and the legs of the horse. The trackers wore dark shoes and dirty white pants. They stopped at the swept place and studied it, and the horseman stopped. The horse moved his head and made a noise. Then the dark trackers turned and studied the horse and watched his ears. Kino was quiet, but very nervous. For a long time, the trackers looked at the road, and then they moved on slowly, studying the ground in front of them. The horsemen moved after them, but Kino knew it was not finished. He did not have long before they came back. Let's read together now. He hurried to the hiding place, and he did not cover his tracks. He looked out too many little signs were there, too many broken sticks and stones out of place, and there was great fear in the town. There was no escape. They had to run. One man looked up at him in question. Trackers, he said, come. And then helplessness and you may never need to know. Some of you who like to really study English, some of you who like to study writing, may want to know these words. Most of you do not. What's happening in the story is building and building now. There's a word for that. Most all stories, there's little excitement and then it goes down, a little excitement and it goes down. This may happen many times in a story. Woo, it's exciting. Not so exciting. Woo. Right now we're hitting probably something we call a climax. Climax. The top of the story, the most exciting part of the story is the climax, where something big happens. The biggest thing in the story. Any story that you read is going to have a climax. Most stories, I would say any story. That's the climax. I introduced you before to some other language words. You don't have to know this. I think I said this once before. The protagonist is the good guy. Antagonist. Guess who they are? The bad guys. Who are the trackers? And bad guys. They are antagonists. You don't have to know these words, but they're the bad guys in the story. Who would the doctor be? The bad guy, a protagonist. Let's say that. Or antagonist, excuse me. Antagonist. Let's say it again. Antagonist. The bad guys. The bad guys in the story. And in this situation, sometimes it's not just a person. In this situation, greed is an antagonist.
Greed.
Too. Greed. Do you know what greed is?
Yes.
I want your things. I want more and more. I want your pearls. Greed. I want what you have. Greed. Wanting more and more and more. Always wanting more. So in this situation, greed is the antagonist. And actually, Kino and his family are the good guys. But in some ways, Kino becomes almost greedy himself. I want more for my family. I'm going to put them at great danger because greed has taken over me too. Not really important. You're not going to walk around in the United States and say, hey, protagonist, hey, antagonist. You're not going to use those words in the United States. If you are a writer and take an English class, you might use these words. Also, when you see pro, it usually means good or in favor of. When you see anti or anti, it means against or bad, usually, not always. Time's up. Time's up. Come back tomorrow. Here's the deal. Come back tomorrow. Some of you then will, I think we'll meet here. For those of you who feel that the other class might be better for you, then we'll decide where you go. Leave your books here unless you're going to read them. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to come tomorrow. Okay. สิอ่ะชื่อได้เหรอครูนะครูเจ็บนะ
Yes, sure. What?
ไอ้เบนพี่ไปข้างบนเปล่าไปเดี๋ยวเอาของให้กินข้าวไม่กินเร็วอ่ะ
ยังไม่ได้กินข้าว
ไปกินก่อนไปเดี๋ยวไปเจอข้างบน
ที่ไหนห้องเก็บผ้าเหรอ
Should I? Go ahead.
เพิ่งจะมาได้2 วันเนี่ย
What was one special thing you did this week?
ไปแล้วเดี๋ยวมาให้ด้วยไงไป
ไอ้เส้นผมไม่ไหวแล้วเนี่ย
Bye-bye.
ไปโดนอะไรชนเลย
ทำขนมที่มอง
มันไม่ตายก็บุญเลยหัวเราะเป็นไงเราต้องจ่ายให้ป่ะ
ไม่มีเรียกเขากิน